everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. One last stream. Gonna quickly change it to my stream graphic though. Apologies about that. It's coming home. Okay. Alrighty. So that's my team. I'm going to change my team obviously when we get lineups. There's really no reason for me to even make any moves until we get those lineups. So that's really the plan here today. It's coming home. No, we move. Yo, nice. Hey, E7. Rolling Thrax. Okay, thank you. Coming home to Spain. Appreciate that. What's up, Fran? Let's go Spain. Yeah, that's the vibe here at least. In my ends. Hope you guys are doing well though. It's coming home. Europa reunion. Fair play. I'll have to see what happens. Can you show? I still want to hold off. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait until we get the lineups. Generally speaking, 3-5-2, probably the same formation that I revealed. And yeah, that's nothing controversial to be honest with my team selection. I would say right now, and that's pretty much it. Your heart says Spain, but your mind says England. Interesting. I mean, surely it would be the other way around because I mean, I guess Spain are now betting favorites. But obviously, yeah, as you've said, England have miraculously come here. I think, against playing some subpar football, but probably have played their best, arguably versus the Dutch, and still, they're close. But yeah, England fan, would Spain deserve it? Thank you, Keymaker. No, I mean, look, this is football and this is sports, right? If you support your team. Feeling nervous, obviously, yeah. You finally saw the life Fabian Ruiz. I mean, he's been the best player in the tournament, but at the same time, when you go for fantasy games, you don't always just choose the best player per se. You tend to look at players and think, can they get goals and assists? So for Fabian to have done what he's done in the tournament so far, that's obviously really lucky. And of course, since then, it's not like he's been absolutely lighting up in terms of goals and assists, right? I haven't made my transfers yet. When am I planning to drop my first FPL video this season? Probably, honestly, after the finals. Maybe tomorrow. I'll just do my sort of initial reaction to all the price reveals. And that will be my first video. Is that sort of what you guys are looking for? What kind of content would you guys like to see immediately off the back with FPL? Obviously, I think that there's some things to look at in terms of fixture difficulty ranking. Some of the initial prices, my thoughts on that. I'm not sure if I'll create a template per se right now, but of course, there's a lot of things to look at. Another fantasy game, due to limited transfers, you're forced to have 4 midfielders from Spain. Is that Fan Team? Or is it the Sun fantasy game? Which one are you playing? Fixtures plus price revealed. Yeah, absolutely, we can do that. Confirm Yamal captain. I think it's between Yamal and Olmo. Yeah, I'm in Fan Team too. In fact, I'm in a couple money spots with the two teams that I have. One in the Meet the Pundits League and one in the just the regular sort of multi-entry, but I just have the one single. Hablas Español, sí. Is Kane injured? I mean, it seems like he's playing injured, if we're being completely honest. The sort of level of performance that Kane has shown us, not just, in terms of finishing or anything like that, but just physically, like, it's not exactly what I expect from Kane, and yeah, it does feel weird. The Pundit League. Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, Chris, that I have dropped Fabian Ruiz within Fan Team, if that helps. Thanks for all the info, cheat sheet odds, but I hope you have an absolute stinker today. Second England final of my lifetime, 16k ranking. Mate, support your team. Nothing wrong with it. Best of luck. When do you think FPL will launch? Probably Tuesday. Everyone on my league gonna captain Olmo or Yamal. Should I captain Foden? I mean, 10 points behind is quite a fair bit. I do think you need to switch it up with the captaincy. So yeah, Foden captaincy makes sense, which obviously means that you're betting against Spain. But look, it's not necessarily the case that Spain have to win without England scoring. So it's not a bad punt. At the same time, I guess if you really want to back sort of a defensive punt where the player keeps a clean sheet, maybe gets an attack in return from Spain, if you think Spain can win, obviously Carvajal is not too bad. Dropping Rice to create midfield space, but between two, Morata, Yamal, Olmo. I would definitely go Yamal and Olmo in most situations. I understand Morata about the differential, but I think Morata, the differential, should probably be competing with some other positions, right? Why not Ruiz? Or you mean, well, I mean, simply with Ruiz, I think his ownership's quite high, so there's that element in the pundit league and just in general most fan team leagues. If you look at betting odds, I think most of the other players are favored. You could drop Nico Williams, to be fair. But then it's also, once again, I think different scenarios that you're hedging against, right? Ruiz probably for better minutes, Ruiz for Williams obviously for a more one-sided result, I suppose. There's also the element that I think, just generally speaking, in terms of goal involvements, from what I can see, bookies odds, if you're comparing, let's say, Rodri to Ruiz, Rodri does seem to favor, particularly for goals with a pen share. And then, yeah, as I said, it might actually just come down to Nico versus Ruiz for you within fan team. Is it not better to go 6 Spain, 5 England picks? I mean, not necessarily, no. I mean, it really just depends on what your thoughts are. I don't think, for example, I think what I could solve with the bookies odds is that it's 57%, Spain favored to win. And at the same time, you have to think about, okay, let's say you go 7 Spain, 4 England. Does that make it necessarily better? 6 Spain, 5 England seems to be you sort of betting against Spain, if that makes sense. I think if you're to bet West Spain, it makes sense to. I mean, the reality about a football game is this, right? You're expecting certain results to happen. It's not like, for example, teams can actually score 1.3 goals or 1.4. So at the end of the day, it makes sense to sort of back a certain. Are the lineups out already officially? Let me have a look. Apologies. Just want to quickly check. Where are you seeing the official lineup for Spain? Curious. Oh wow, we actually revealed it. Unai Simon, Dani Carvajal. Yeah, Letterman, which is what I expected. Cucurella as well. Very nice. Yeah, and then yeah, the most expected Spain lineup of all time. All right, sorry, I had to watch the video, get myself a little bit hyped up there. But you're right, that is the starting 11. Well done. Yeah, so as we predicted, Lenormand should start, and he has. The best captain, who I would say probably Olmo in the main game. How do substitutions work? They don't work at all. Would it be good to get differentials, especially England is expecting them to chase game? I think if you're really chasing for it, let's say you're multiple points behind. You can always. I think Foden in of itself is quite good. I think a captaincy differential is always going to be a good differential as well. Going for substitutions, I'm not sure if that really works. So you also have to think that there could be situations where, unfortunately, Rice actually makes a lot of sense, right? For example, let's say if you predict for England to lose for whatever reason, going for Rice isn't actually a bad idea because he can still get ball recoveries and he can get points from that sort of avenue. Whereas obviously if you're expecting, let's say, a Spain one-sided result, that sort of situation, Rice is still going to be quite beneficial to you in multiple sort of game states. Obviously, once again, though, as I said, most people might back a little bit more Spain dominant. And for that reason, of course, just simply going with a heavier English stack will help you, right? And going for players like Foden, who, for example, haven't returned this tournament so far, but clearly are capable of returning, those are your differentials. You're 20 points behind your league. Could you offer differential team? Yeah, just go 8 England, I think, with 20 points to go. I think captain, obviously, an English player like Foden. Go 8 English and call it a day. I think that it's actually achievable, I think, to break the 20 points because that's that. Bellingham are almost, as I said, there's obviously a difference between the best captaincy and then there's obviously a difference with the differential captaincy. I think Olmo, for me, is the best captaincy. And I'll probably go Olmo. Why am I going Olmo captain over Yamal? Just simply because the goal scoring sort of expected involvements for Yamal and Olmo are very similar. And even though I think Yamal actually has better minutes than Olmo, The main thing is almost a midfielder, which makes it a big difference. I actually did captain Yamal last time around, but you know, as I said, I think they're always tempted. They're sort of 50-50s. I also tend to think, for example, player of the match sometimes is also it's very feeling dependent, if that makes sense, right? Player of the match is such a big avenue towards points. But if you think about the previous match, you could have definitely given player of the match to Olmo, even though Yamal scored a super goal. Yamal also created some great chances as well. For example, the Fabian Ruiz sort of far post header that he created, these sorts of situations. But yeah, do you think Shaw plays over 60 minutes if he starts? I think so. I can't see Shaw being a 45-minute substitution. Rice instead of Jude. Should I use my last transfer to bring in Ruiz, Foden, or Simon? I mean, if you really want to go, I think Foden is quite nice, to be honest, out of all three options. Would you roll with Rice or Kane for today's game? What do you mean by roll? Like, what does that really mean? Is Ruiz a good option over Williams? I think definitely, yeah. No complaints about going Ruiz over Williams. I'm going to make my transfers. Oh, I can actually make my Spanish transfers now. Should we do the Spanish transfers now, guys? And then we can wait for England's lineup to come out. Let's do that. I'm going to drop... I don't think I'm going to go Saka in most situations, so I'll just drop him now. And I'll go Carvajal now as well. So those are two transfers that I know are locked in for me. In this situation, obviously, I'd be playing Guehi. So put him on. We can sub in Koundé for Fabian Ruiz. And then I'll probably just make the final changes for Mbappe and Kane and Bellingham maybe to Foden or even to Rice, to be honest, is something I have considered. Cucurella is also an interesting one. So I guess I could drop Nico Williams as well, but I just want to sort of back a Spanish win, maybe a convincing win, if that makes sense. And so I've kind of gone for this situation. Obviously, convincing win probably includes a clean sheet, but still think England are capable of doing it. And I'm going to back two English attackers anyway, so I kind of like hedging a little bit more towards Spain attack than Spain defense. Spanish transfers, thanks. I'll go England, 8 England plus ball recovery players and hope for an England win. Will hurt as an Irish. Yeah, I appreciate that, Seamus. Correction, would you start Bellingham, Kane, or Rice for today? I'd probably start Kane in most situations. Should I go for an attacking return with Walker or ball recoveries with Guehi? I'd go Guehi. I think Guehi's just been astoundingly good this tournament. Almost doubled Walker in terms of ball recoveries, which is just incredible. So the transfers that I've made are the ones that I've done so far. So that would have been, I think, one sort of miscellaneous like Saka for Ruiz, and I've done Carvajal in for Koundé. I've always had Guehi in the team. The last, I mean, I guess I could go. Hold on, actually, I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess I could drop Foden as well. Spain 3-0 England. I think hopefully it's like that, but I really can't imagine it being that one-sided, if I'm being completely honest with you. Do you expect Spain to have the most shots? It's an interesting situation, right? Because when I look at the English team so far, I think the people who are likely to take sort of pot shots are Foden. So I guess it's sort of a mix of like Foden plus Kane versus the Spanish team in general. And I think Spain would be favored to take more shots, but we'll see what happens. I am tempted to maybe go against Kane as well. I wonder if that could... Because if I go Cucurella, right? I don't think that's awful. If I go like 4-5-1, if that makes sense. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that. Obviously, that would mean that I'd have to go Unai out, which I don't really mind. It is a pretty big punt to go against Kane, but I think I could deal with it. If Watkins starts, get Watkins. We'll see what happens. I mean, I wouldn't go for Watkins unless he was 100% starting today. England midfield will have no chance against Spain's high press. Yeah, but the issue, I guess, with Spain is always that we have found it almost impossible to play outside of a dominant situation. So, for example, if we're leading, I believe when the game is, let's say, static, 0-0, for example, we don't have a lead. Spain have been the best team in the tournament by far. But when we are when we are protecting a lead, we have been one of the worst teams in the tournament. Why don't you have any players that come off the bench? I mean, I just really don't. The thing is, you can obviously choose someone to come off the bench, but how positive are you that you'll choose the right one, if that makes sense? Like, Watkins could score, but so could Ferran Torres, so could Mikel Merino. Fran has been, frankly, a little bit horrible for us. The substitution in the Germany game was a pretty sore watch, and I'm not sure if Ferran's going to get that many minutes, right? I think we could once again play Yamal to the absolute buzzer, or close to it once again, at which point Ferran Torres won't have too many minutes. I guess the best bet for Spain from an attacking perspective is still Oyarzabal, which a lot of people don't like. And then obviously for England, you've got Palmer and Watkins, but does it make sense for me to believe that there's going to be a lot of sub goals? I still think no. I don't tend to pick players coming off the bench for FPL. I wouldn't do it today necessarily either. Score prediction, I hope 3-1 Spain is... That sounds nice and fair. Should I get Foden / Rodri / Ruiz for Bellingham Rice? I don't think you should replace Rice. I think he's actually very good. I think you can consider replacing Bellingham with a Spanish midfielder if you'd like to do so. The Spanish penalty taker should be Rodri. Should I get Foden / Rodri / I mean, I've answered that question. But Morata Ruiz, I'd probably go Fabian just for the minutes as well. That's quite important too, ultimately. Kane as pens. Yeah, I agree, Kane as pens. But obviously, I'm still also backing a Spain result at the end of the day, right? So I don't really mind too much. Ruiz versus Foden. I'd probably actually go Foden just because he's such a differential, and obviously looks like he's actually in the right positions really to do well. But it depends as well. As I said, if you want to stack heavily into Spain, you need to consider within your own team as well. Like in isolation, I can say one or the other. Kane not playing. No, that's not true. I just haven't made my transfers yet. People have to think about this game. I might go to 120 minutes. Pick players that doesn't get swapped early. I guess there's a bit of both, right? We've seen, for example, a lot of the players who are still the best picks are going to get subbed off early, right? So, for example, Saka, Bellingham will play later, but Kane, I think he can now be subbed early. Within the Spanish team, obviously Nico is the one who's most prone to being subbed early alongside Olmo. But then, are you going to not pick Olmo and Williams? It's tough, right? Are you going to suddenly not go Olmo? I don't think people would say that, even if he came off at 75 minutes. So you'd still probably prefer 75 minutes of Olmo versus maybe, like, let's say 55 or 45 minutes of Mikel Merino, for example. With Foden, I can understand definitely going for Bellingham and Saka over him, but then I also think there's the consideration of, the effective ownership of, let's say, someone like Bellingham or Saka versus Foden as well. And then obviously, given that Kane seemingly has reduced minutes, like him and Morata still look like picks that might not be amazing. Kane's obviously a lot better than Morata in the sense that he's a penalty taker, so that's a huge difference. I think that makes Morata slightly worse. If you had to choose only three midfielders, who would you go with? Good question. I think I'd probably go Rodri, Olmo, Fabian Ruiz, to be honest. Just back the minutes. So I think where you can obviously back players with really good... Oh, actually, to be fair, going back to the midfield, if we were to talk about all the English midfielders who could do well, heading into late game situations, you've got... you also actually have the opportunity to go Declan Rice, right? So, for example, if let's say you're not really backing England to win, you're backing Spain to win, or generally you think the game will be quite cagey, I'll probably Olmo captaincy. Yeah, that's correct. But you have an opportunity to. Well, I'm Olmo Yamal captain. I'll decide very shortly. But right now, leaning Olmo. However, going back to the point. You can go Declan Rice, for example, if you want to back that sort of that setup. 8 Spain for sure. Yeah, once again, it's up to you, and obviously your rank goals as well, because this is the last week. Right now, we don't necessarily want to go for the players who are just purely the best on sort of, our expectations and the market expectations, right? You also kind of want to have open eye to, your mini league goals and who some of your competitors will have in terms of their teams. Morata in first 11. Yeah, Morata's always been in the first 11. Last Euro stream for a while. Yeah, absolutely excited for FPL. What do you think about the prices so far, Chai? Hope you're doing well. Foden or Nico? I'd probably still go Foden. Olmo. Yeah, I love Olmo. Just trust your gut. Yeah. Hey, I mean, to be honest, I have a data-backed approach, and obviously I've got my own gut feel as well. That's why I kind of Yamal captain last week. Didn't go Kane though, but the ref decided that he deserved a penalty, so that hurt quite a bit. 11 Spain out. Yeah, the Spanish 11 is out. Actually, let me copy and paste it into the chat here. Sorry about that. I should have done that. Yeah, I mean, someone already put it in chat, so I probably should have done that. I wonder if that helps. That's the Spanish 11. Oh, there's no space with Williams and Morata, but I hope that helps. Oh, it gets clipped. I'm sorry about that, but either way, hope that helps. Let me know when the English team lineups come out, though. Would happily change my team around then, when the time comes, of course. Best England defender? I still think it's Guehi at the end of the day. You had Demiral on your team. You had Demiral on your team when he scored 2 goals? That's incredible. Rodri or Ruth? I'd probably still go Rodri. Guehi or Shaw? I'd still probably go Guehi. Because, I mean, you never know. Obviously, Shaw's coming back from injury as well. He might obviously have limited minutes anyways. I can't imagine he plays more than 90 minutes, whereas Guehi, if we go extra time, that's a little bit better as well, generally speaking. Very happy with pricing in general. One thing that does make sense, though, is Palmer being more expensive than both Saka and Foden. Wait, did Saka and Foden come out today? Oh my god. Sorry, I've been out today. I've been watching the tennis, and I haven't seen the prices. Let me just quickly have a look. Probably going to make a video later today, but I haven't had a chance to look at any of the sort of FPL price reveals, sadly. So let's just have a look. I think the England predicted lineup is Shaw to start, right? The only change there, but Kane will start. Did Saka and Foden already have their prices out? You can't imagine them being more than 10.5. I don't think Foden will have any chance of being more than 10.5. I mean, part of it is no penalties, but I think Saka could be 10.5 as well. I can't see why he wouldn't be. But I imagine Saka will probably end up being 10. If I'm chasing points, I'd probably captain Foden, but also the way I'd probably like to chase points is I'd probably skip some of the English picks, and I'll just hope my ancillary English picks are a bit different. Do you know anything about Xerxes? Yeah, I've watched him in Serie A little bit. Wait, weird that he's not first choice for Netherlands. I think the main thing is, that there's obviously great players that are not established for their national teams, who are worth a lot of money, if that makes sense. And I think, for example, even the English bench, right? Like, let's say Eze, I think is definitely worth 50 million. Obviously, the Dutch are a little bit more inferior to England in terms of the starting lineup. But I think there's a lot of legacy with Depay. He wouldn't play the same position necessarily. He's a bit more of a second striker. I suppose Coman prefers traditional midfielders as well. Copy my squad from quarters or semi. No hope to win this. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been lovely for the semi-finals. Do you think Rodri could be a decent pick? Yeah, I have Rodri in my team, and I'm happy to do that. How many points am I on? 358. Foden or Bellingham? I mean, it really comes down to whether you're chasing on. Obviously, Bellingham has better minutes. Foden's a bit more of a better differential. Wide of Mbappe, I haven't made my English transfers yet. Thoughts on the FPL prices so far? I mean, I think there are some bad pricings and there are some good pricings, right? I think Palmer's well priced, Holland's well priced, Salah, and Kunku, João Pedro. Some of the defenders feel a little cheap, but for the most part, I think I'm pretty happy with it. Um, you meant Rodri as a captain who come in clutch. Oh, you absolutely could consider it. To be honest, it's not actually a bad captain at all. To be honest. And Kunku price seems crazy. Yeah, it does seem too good. I mean, they might be saved by the fact that Nkunku might not become a starter for this Chelsea team, but I find that hard to believe. More than likely he will be a starter, and just by being a starter alone, I think at 6.5, it's a ridiculous price. Yamal or Olmo captain? I'm pretty I think both are lovely. Would you go for Ruiz or Bellingham? I'd probably go Fabian Ruiz. I understand that Nkunku's injury prone, but that doesn't mean anything, does it? Like if you can get a player for 4 or 5 games and he gets injured, then that's fine. What's the big deal with getting a 3-digit FPL ID? How do you get it? I just basically, on what I think is a release day, I just constantly refresh the page until Fantasy Premier League comes out. I think the big deal is when you go on websites that check your live rank, like Live FPL or even like Fantasy Football Hub. You get to type 3 digits as opposed to 6 or 7, and that's nice. Spain defense captain. I mean, if you're going all out for a sort of Spanish result, yeah, it's not a bad idea. Like Carvajal captain, it's not a bad idea. Foden or Saka, I'd probably go Foden if you're chasing. What do I do for work? I'm an auditor. You should change your captain on the showcase thing to Yamal. I haven't decided my captain yet. I'm actually leaning towards Olmo. Is it because my captaincy says Yamal? I mean, I haven't really changed my mind, but it could be Donny captain. Could be Rodri captain as well. I guess I could go for that. Am I picking Liverpool Football Club players? I mean, I've got no bias, to or against Liverpool. Liverpool actually have some of the best fixtures to start the season, so I think definitely I could very well go Liverpool players. I think Trent also seemingly was quite softly priced, if I'm being honest. Any news on Kane injury? I mean, Kane's not injured. Kane's is more than likely going to start. I mean, technically, Olmo already has the golden glove or golden boot, sorry, because they said that whoever gets, if anyone is drawn on the same amount of goals in terms of the golden boot, then everyone will get the trophy. Is apparently what UEFA have decided. Rank top 5k. That's awesome. You may have missed the reason why no Kane. I haven't made my English transfers yet, so I still have 3 transfers to go. Go for someone. Golden goal. Best England captain. I'd probably say Kane, then Foden, then Guehi. Well, I'd probably say Guehi over Foden, but yeah. Best English midfield is not chasing. I think if you're not chasing, I think Rice is actually the best. Most likely. If people have watched England, they will know. I mean, yeah, we went no Kane last time, but unfortunately, the referee decided otherwise. Is the general gist of the story. Rank Spain captaincy options. I'd probably say Olmo, Yamal. Maybe Fabian Ruiz, to be honest. I might still go Yamal captain, actually. Why not back my star boy, as they say. Let's change it to Yamal captaincy. Or our star boy, maybe I should say. Rodri is always good in these types. I think Rodri's a great captaincy shout as well. Definitely maybe the best Spanish differential shout alongside Carvajal. You think England will be chasing all day? Carvajal for Ballon d'Or if he wins tonight? I think Rodri has a better chance to win the Ballon d'Or based on the Ballon d'Or odds that I've had a look at. You're 9 points behind in your first in your league, but you can catch him. I think one captaincy difference can make that difference sometimes, and obviously 1-2 different picks will help. So if you really need 1-2 different picks, and there's Lenormand always if you want to go there. You do think England will score? Is Rodri the best number 6 ever? I wouldn't say so just yet. I mean, he's been world class for around 3 years now, whereas there are some other players like Busquets, right? Olmo, Kane. Just talking captaincy right now. How many goals does Kane have? He's got 3, right? Or does he have... No, I think he has... Or does he have 2? So he has the... No, he's got 3, I think. Because he scored versus Denmark. He scored versus Slovenia. And he scored versus the Dutch. But the thing is, like, no one plays for the golden boot. Everyone is playing just to win, you know? So, like, narratives like that doesn't really mean anything. Watkins lineup. I don't think Watkins is in the lineup. Not that I could see. Oh, sorry, he did play. Yeah, he did score versus Denmark, yeah. Isn't that what I said, though? So, Bellingham or Rice. Bellingham will have a big game. He knows how to play against Spanish. I mean, what does that even mean? Fake penalty, yeah. Kane's good for the fake penalties. I mean, that's the benefit of being on penalties, right? You can get fake ones, you can get real ones. These Spanish lineups are out. But I just don't understand. So it's not like Bellingham plays... Yeah, I just... Sorry, I'm not really buying that as an argument. I don't think Bellingham's going to necessarily perform better against Spain than he would versus, like, any other team, if that makes sense. You play, like, so many contrasting teams, even within your own domestic league, and I mean, he's played all over the world already within his young age and against a lot of different players. I mean, you can argue that, you know, Man City is coached by a Spanish manager, and we probably play more similarly to a team like Man City, arguably, than, let's say, Real Madrid or some of the other Spanish teams that I can think of, like even Barcelona. So when I think about it like that, has Bellingham played well versus Man City? Like, if I want to make that argument, I guess he did score versus Man City when he was in Dortmund, but I mean, he's just a good player, and he's gonna have good situations to do well, and that remains the case in most games. Why not Morata? I think it's Morata, a decision between him versus, let's say, maybe Nico Williams. Kane isn't actually injured. The game has really bad... I don't know why, but this game has a lot of injury doubts on players like Rice and Kane, etc., and that's not the case. Obviously, we might think that Kane is injured playing this tournament so far, but he's not injured. I think he'll start. Why would you drop for Foden? Who would you drop for Foden in my team? Probably Bellingham in this situation. Just to chase a little bit. Or I might go Rice. Morata has 1 goal. I don't think they should make it so you can sub on half time. This isn't... I mean, this isn't really... Like, a lot of fantasy games are about making a decision and sort of making long-term decisions. I think that's the beauty of fantasy games. There are some other games that allow you to sort of free hit and things like that, and that's a little bit anti-fantasy, or like draft fantasy, I suppose. So there's more free hit type elements of games that would more suit, for example, substitutions, like So Rare, for example. We're unable to keep whole Spain squad right now. You can't do that. Why did Morata get the assist last game? Because UEFA have rules on assists. They need the assist to be intentional, and it was very clear that the touch, even though it bounced off of him, that it wasn't intended for him to assist in any sort of way. Rodri's on penalties, I believe so, yes. Guehi or Cucurella? I'd probably go Guehi. Which 2 English midfielders along with 3 Spanish ones? I mean, I if I had to choose 2 English midfield, I'd probably go Rice and Foden personally. But I mean, I can understand going Rice plus one of Bellingham or Saka as well. It's not really an issue. Shaw should start. That's the predicted lineup that I've seen for England, actually. Shaw starting any lineup for England. Yep, the English lineup is exactly the same as the previous match, but Shaw starts over Trippier, I believe. But I'm still waiting for the official news because I'd rather wait for it. No -4 for an England striker. No, I mean, I have free transfers. I just haven't decided to use them yet. That's all. No Cucurella. I might go Cucurella in the end. Shaw gonna have a busy day against Yamal. Very well. Very, very possibly so, yeah. But I'm sure they'll double up on Yamal in some sort of way, like for example, Rice plus Shaw, that sort of thing, right? Or even Bellingham plus Shaw. He's going to put Palmer to start. I don't think Palmer will start at all. Play Bellingham and Simon or play Foden and Pickford. I kind of like Foden and Pickford, but up to you. Actually, Bellingham and Simon is probably still better, I would say, just for the better clean sheet odds for Simon. Which 3 Spanish midfielders? I'd probably go Rodri, Ruiz, and Olmo. What keeper should I go for, Simon or Pickford? I'd probably go Simon for the clean sheet odds. But once again, as I said, up to you and sort of how you determine the Spain versus England game will go. We should hopefully get the English lineups in around 15 minutes, and that will be nice. I'm just going to quickly have a quick browse towards Twitter and things like that. Did I watch Alcaraz? Yeah, I did, yeah. I really enjoyed that match, obviously. Didn't I make... No, I haven't made the moves already yet. I mean, there's no reason to make moves until lineups are out. There is a predicted lineup, circulating Twitter and things like that. So yeah, I mean, you can rely on that if you want to, but I'd probably just rather wait for the actual lineups to come out, and then I'll make a decision then. What keeper should you start? I'd probably go Simon if you do have Simon. Harry Kane is doubtful. Yeah, Harry Kane isn't doubtful. Not from what I can hear in terms of like any of the news that I've read. So I think Kane will 100% start, but we'll find out. Pickford and Williams or Simon and Ruiz. I'd probably go Simon and Ruiz. What's my prediction? Hope I just want a Spain win. I'm not really in the business of making predictions. Everyone go for Spain. English win and Foden hat-trick. That's pretty ambitious, but good luck. Stones, Guehi, Laporte, Carvajal, Cucurella. Which three to start? I'd probably go Guehi, Laporte, Carvajal. Is quite what I like. Bellingham, Foden, Saka, Rice. I'd probably go Foden, Rice, Bellingham, Saka in that order, just for a mixture of different things. The odds for Bellingham, Saka, and Foden are very, very similar, but Rice obviously is really good for ball recoveries. Cucurella versus Laporte. You feel Cucurella has more attacking potential. Cucurella obviously is a fullback, but actually his attacking potential is very low. Like, he doesn't ever get himself into situations where I would say he's able to shoot. Obviously, he can get himself into positions where he can assist, but then you also have to factor in that Laporte's slightly better as well on ball recoveries. So I think it's very close. I personally prefer Laporte because Laporte still has moved into positions where he's taken shots and he's obviously a set piece threat. Foden or Rice the better pick? I'd probably say Foden, just about. When will I make transfers? When the English lineup is out, I'll do that. Is not having Ruiz a big miss? I don't think so necessarily. I mean, we're getting so close towards the end of the game where, for example, one of Bellingham, Saka, or Foden can just have a crazy game. And that makes a huge difference. Why do I pick Rodri over Williams? Better minutes, ball recoveries, penalties, and partially as well, like, Williams versus Walker. Shaw and Kane confirmed to start. once again, I think I'll just wait for the English. I'll wait for the English official sort of lineup to come out, and that probably will come out in around 11 minutes time. You meant to say Pickford and Ruiz or Simon and Williams? I'd probably go Pickford and Ruiz, to be honest. I think Ruiz is quite nice. You're feeling a jamming England win today. Fair enough. Is it naive to go triple England defense plus captain of Spain at Spanish attacker to offset this? I mean, to be honest, it's one fixture, so why would you play against yourself? I think just back the result that you want, and hopefully this, treat it like a free hit, basically. This is what happens when you have 1 week in FPL, like in a fantasy game, or like FPL or any other game. You should sort of be betting towards a very specific result, and it's not just about theoretically the best options in multiple different spots, but rather if you're betting a certain result, then just bet that direction. If you're betting a captaincy that would completely go against your defense, then you're sort of reducing the ceiling of your team, right? So you kind of just need to pay attention to the fact that it is one game of football. Things can go your way if you go for a certain team, and if that result hits, that's the best sort of free hit situation. This isn't a situation where, for example, like with traditional fantasy, you're going for a pick, and that pick needs to perform over 6 to 7 game weeks at a time. You're just sort of picking ultimately as if it was a free hit. Which to Rodri Olmo Nico? I'd probably go Rodri Olmo. Will there be a clean sheet? I mean, look, the odds of a clean sheet are always below 50%. So, I mean, my comfortable answer is probably not. But if you were to back a clean sheet, it would probably make sense to back Spain a little bit over England. But if you want to back England, there's nothing really wrong with that. As I said, it does sort of make sense to back England too, for the simple purpose of sort of backing a different result that a lot of people will sort of be hedging against. Like, for example, most people will most likely back Spain a little harder than England, and if you go for more English defenders, then of course if the situation goes well for them, then that's gonna have a huge boost for your team. So you're going Bellingham over Foden? No, that's not true. As I said, I haven't made my lineups for the English players yet. Is 8+3 necessary for the team you're backing? It's not necessary at all, no. But I think, as I said, I'm trying to hedge towards a Spanish result, and that's sort of why I'm doing that. Cormac, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. You take a risk, 6x England. That's fine. Captaincy goes to Bellingham, but you also wonder about Kane. Yeah, I think Kane is obviously the safest sort of shout in most situations, given the penalties and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. Just wanted to say thanks for all you've done. Thanks, Robert. I've been following you for some time. Can't wait to have your input this year for the EPL. Awesome. Love from here in London. Appreciate it. Thanks for the great content. Sokan says, and any great prices in FPL? I'd probably say Nkunku and João Pedro look pretty good, but we need to sort of see, first of all, what the Brighton manager is going to start sort of lining up in preseason with, what his thoughts might be on João Pedro, because I think João Pedro by the end of last season was nailed for Brighton and the penalty taker, so I think that's huge for 5.5 million. Other prices wise, it seems like, honestly, because we have so many steals like Nkunku and João Pedro, etc., that we very well could be able to afford Haaland plus Salah. Initially, I would say because Liverpool have much better fixtures than Chelsea, I can't see myself starting the game with let's say Palmer, for example. As far as Xerxes, I've got no interest in him until I see that United sort of markedly improve, and I don't think United start with the best of fixtures anyway. So eventually, I'm sure there will be an avenue in the season where I go for Bruno and I go for players like Xerxes, depending on their minutes. But yeah, I mean, Bruno's minutes are always going to be great, but I'm saying that more specifically for Xerxes. Would starting Saka over Rice when I have Olmo, Rodri, and Nico be a good choice? Look, the game can be both teams to score, so going for an English attacker isn't necessarily a bad option. Spain top 3 captains. I think Olmo, Ruiz, Olmo, Rodri, and Yamal are probably the best options. How many points am I on total? I think 358. Or was it 350? Yeah, 358. That's correct. I might obviously try and captain someone a little bit different, because I recognize, of course, that I am in a chasing position per se. So I might actually bet against Kane as well at the end of the day, because when I think about it, I might just want to bet against England in that sort of manner, and then maybe just go Rice as well for the ball Rex. Like go full ball Rex and saves for England, and then maybe just kind of go all out for a Spain result is something that I'm tempted to do. Pick 2 between Saka, Foden, Rice, and Jude. I'd probably say Foden and Rice. Is Morata a good option? I still think he's a decent option, but for me, I sort of put him on a similar level to, let's say, Nico Williams, where both of them are prone to being subbed off a little bit earlier, and you know that you're sort of taking a bit of a risk in terms of knowing that the minutes are slightly worse. The English lineup, I think it should be out within 6 minutes. Usually they post it around, with 10 minutes to go. So hopefully we get the English lineup soon. Which to Rodri Olmo Nico, I'd say Rodri Olmo. I'm currently first in my friends league, but it's only 10 points difference. I don't think you need differentials. I mean, you're sort of trying to protect your lead. Guess probably the most likely captaincy from your opponent, and maybe just go for that and mirror the team. Similarly, I would say if you have a better team flat out, then don't worry too much either. Is there any defenders that will come off early in the game with a clean sheet? I don't really think so. Not in this situation. Maybe Shaw potentially, right? Because Shaw, I'm not sure if Shaw can play more than 90 minutes of football if you want to put it like that. So if it goes to extra time, there's that. At the same time, seems like most games that go extra time now don't really have a goal. Do I reckon both teams to score? I think it's more likely than not that both teams score, but why don't I take it? I don't need to take a hit at all. As I said, I haven't made transfers for the English players yet. I've got three free transfers to go. Five-point difference. I mean, similar situation, I think, if you're leading your league, basically, to sort of just reduce the amount of differentials, go for a safe standard captaincy, because not that many people always tempt themselves with a different captaincy, and you probably can't guess it anyway, so you're just going to have to hope that the most logical best pick helps. Is Kane going to play? I think Kane will play. I think Shaw will start. That's the predicted news that I've seen. Do I favor Foden Rice over Bellingham merely due to this? No, I actually think Rice is actually just an astoundingly good pick for the ball recoveries, and given that, for example, this game, given for example that in this game, unfortunately, it's probably going to be a bit of a low-scoring game. We know finals tentatively are sort of like that. I would think that Rice is actually very strong because the expectations for goals and assists aren't particularly good for most players. Now, I do think Bellingham might be a touch better than Foden, but I also think Foden, when I look at, for example, the odds, he's a little bit better than Saka just in isolation. So in terms of projected involvements, I think Foden just might be a little bit better and very close to Jude anyways. So you're playing Sun Dream Team and you're 25 points ahead. I don't really know how Sun Dream Team works, but congratulations, obviously, and hopefully you can narrow down that win, or close out that win, rather. Can't fit Foden or Ruth. I think that's fine. You don't have to if your team's already. I think if you've got a 25-point lead, I can't imagine why you need to fit in certain players if you can't. Just hope that your lead will sort of prevail. Hey, NRX Fuse. Who should I pick for my team? Bellingham or Yamal? I'd go Yamal for sure. So not sure who to captain. I mean, who do you have left in your team? Foden or Saka? I'd probably go Foden. Rice or Rodri? I'd probably still go Rodri. Should I put Rodri or Williams? You're first by 1 point in a league where the prize is 5, but second by 10 points. Sorry, what is the first? The prize is 5, but second by 10 points in a league with a 50 prize. Do you go risky or play safe? I think you should go slightly riskier. You don't need to go crazily risky because you're only down by 10 points per se. Is Olmo? I think Olmo captain is a great choice. Best captain to try catch 20 points. I'd probably say Foden. Foden or a defender captaincy. Carvajal or Laporte. I'd probably go Laporte. Is Kane confirmed to play? We'll find out. I think in approximately 1 minute. We should get the English lineouts like literally right now. I imagine. 30 points ahead thanks to your content. Could have been more if Austria didn't lose so early. Yeah, it was a bit tough. But oh well, time to give football a break and come back for your FPL content soon. Thank you, Raphael. Appreciate that, and hope you just close out your league nice and easily. Olmo versus Yamal versus Foden captain. Which one is the best option? I tend to think that it's between Olmo and Yamal. Once again, as I said, Foden is a bit more for the differential. Best captain to chase 2 points. I think just choose the one that you actually like between Olmo and Yamal, because 2 points is so little. You might as well just hope that your team's just better, flat out. Palmer captain, time to chase your friend. Fair enough. Top 900 chase, huh? What about Luke Shaw? Good differential. I think Luke Shaw will play. So what you do with that information is up to you. He did look decent, I will say, in the previous sort of, appearances, but you also have to sort of realize that Spain slightly preferred, I suppose, on clean sheets. So this is an expected game where maybe Spain will score. So take that information as well. I think we have the lineups, right? So Shaw starts. Yep, that's correct. Kane starts as well. Nothing controversial at all from both teams. All right, let's do some transfers. I'm actually tempted to maybe go Rice and then just lock out that full Spain, selection. I guess it then becomes a case of Morata versus Cucurella. Might go Cucurella, actually. Let me review my transfer. So I would be playing 4-5-1, basically praying that Spain keep a clean sheet, but also score. And then everyone I've gone for is saves and ball recoveries. Is sort of the situation that I'm planning for. I think I'll probably back that, yeah. Let's lock that in. And we'll bring Cucurella in for Mbappe. And I'll just bet against England, unfortunately. Obviously, just back in my own home country. Nothing controversial. Nazim, thank you so much for the super chat. Cucurella or Walker in. I'd go probably Cucurella. You already have Guehi and Laporte, then Morata, Rodri. Already have Kane, Yamal, Midas. Yeah, I would definitely go Cucurella. He's just got more ball recoveries than Walker as well, so that makes a huge difference. You're chasing, so you have Carvajal captain. I think that's a decent idea. I mean, I'm considering Carvajal captain as well within another sort of game mode, if that makes sense, where I am chasing slightly. So, and because I'm not playing in any leagues or anything like that. I'd like to just back a Spain win. I'm kind of hoping for the best result, which probably would be, Yamal doing well. I suppose I could go Rodri captaincy though. It's not the most awful punt. You're leading the mini league. Should you go 3 defenders from Spain and 1 from England, or 2 England and 2 Spain? Nah, you don't want to. I'll probably just keep it on Mr. Lamine Yamal. Just gonna quickly tweet out my lineup as well. All right. Just tweeted my team. Sorry about that. Who did I sub for Cucurella? I think it was just Virgil van Dijk. Best captaincy. Kane is playing. I've just decided not to go against Kane because I'm sort of backing a certain result for Spain. There's no reason you guys shouldn't have Kane in your team, though. I think it's totally fine to have Kane. I can't go Simon because I literally need 3 English players and 8 Spanish players because there's a limit, unfortunately. Do I think Shaw will score? I think it's more likely that he doesn't score. So if you want to go for Shaw, then go for him as a differential. Why not Simon? I can't. I literally can't. Shaw is starting. Yeah, that's correct. Best English captains, probably Kane, to be honest, at the end of the day. Then it's really just your pick of players like Foden, Guehi, and things like that. Your OR 60k, Foden or Kane captain, I'd probably still go Foden if you're chasing. Why Rice over other English midfielders? As I said, I'm sort of backing a Spain result where hopefully Spain get a clean sheet, so that's sort of why I've gone for this team. Who do you recommend captaining from the Spanish side? Yamal or Olmo, I think, are the best picks at the end of the day. And I think Yamal plays slightly more minutes than Olmo, so that really is a big difference maker. Captain Nico, I don't really love Nico versus Walker today. I also think his minutes are a little bit worse. I also think Olmo and Yamal are better, so that's sort of my answer. I don't mind it though if you want a differential, because not many people are probably going to be considering Nico for the sort of reasons that I mentioned. Why so many Spanish players when England are going to win? Interesting question. You're chasing 6 points, Foden or Bellingham. I'd definitely chase with Foden. Should I try to get Foden in over Saka or Bellingham? I think if you're chasing, yeah. Top 3 English players to score most points. Probably Foden, Rice, Kane. Who should I drop, Ruiz or Williams for Foden? I'd probably... You don't need to necessarily drop anyone, I think. You can just keep both. But I'd probably drop Williams over Ruiz. Olmo or Yamal, if I'm leading by 1 point, I'd probably go Olmo. It seems like Yamal is crazy, 1 goal the whole tournament. I mean, what is that even supposed to mean? He's leading Spain for expected goals. He actually has, I think, is he joint leading in assists as well? So, not sure what's crazy about that. Why don't I get Kane? Just decided to back against Kane. I'm already sort of chasing in terms of my position in the world, so I don't really mind going against Kane. And I'm Spanish as well, so a little bit of bias there. But as I said, at the end of the day, if you're sort of trying to round out your mini league, you'll go for players like Kane, and etc. But if you're trying to, for example, like me, chase a little bit and still sort of back a theme, like for example, Spain getting a clean sheet, that sort of thing, I've decided to go for players, non-attackers for England and get players from England who will get points regardless of losing a clean sheet and that sort of thing, or not even scoring, for example. 3 assists for Yamal, 1 goal. Yeah, and the key thing, as I said, is he leads us in expected goals and expected assists. I'm chasing right now, 1 point behind leader. Pick 2, Foden, Ruiz, Nico. I'd say Foden and Ruiz. Who comes on for Morata? Or Arsabal does. Today, you feel like Carvajal masterclass? Go for it. I think he's actually quite an interesting captaincy. This game has 0-0 all over it. Captain Shaw and hope he goes off in 61 minutes with a cleanie. Well, I think if you're saying it's 0-0, then surely you want a defender who plays more minutes and gets more ball recoveries, right? But of course, yeah, I mean, Shaw is likely to maybe come off at least during extra time, right? I'm not sure if he can really stretch beyond 80. You're chasing 27 points. I'd probably say just go all out on England and captain a differential from England, like Foden. Foden will score today 100%. Put a bet on it then. Morata or Rodri more key? I'd say Rodri for sure, just because of the minutes, the ball recoveries, more guarantees of points from players like Rodri. Is your captain Olmo Yamal? It's Yamal. Lamine Yamal. Sorry, just quickly checking Twitter. Why not Kane? Kane is starting. As I said, I'm just backing against England, which is just sort of what I want to do for today. Are you picking the team based on who will score the highest, or no? As I said, Kane should be in most teams, particularly if you're defending a lead, if you're trying to get the best projected points possible. In a theoretical situation, Kane's obviously great, but the key thing is that this is a week where I'm really chasing a little bit, and I'm trying to assume a better result for Spain, where Kane obviously doesn't score, or that England rather don't score at all. Omar, I'm gonna have to put you in timeout because we don't do that in chat. I'd go Kane over Jude though. Laporte, Cucurella, I'd probably back Laporte just for the ball recoveries. The strategy, if you want to chase, I think, is backing England a little bit heavier, backing an England captaincy as well. Rodri is on penalties. I'd say probably Foden for a differential captaincy. What is the strategy if you want to chase points? As I said, probably a little bit heavier in England. Maybe go for picks like Luke Shaw, which people don't own already, and consider a differential captaincy. Only the first 7 players get points. Reserves don't get points. Yeah, only starting 11. Any opinions on Luke Shaw? Is he worth the transfer? I mean, if you can go for it, I probably would. I think I'd be tempted. Who's the safest captaincy? I think Olmo or Yamal are the safest captaincies, or even Kane from the English side, to be honest. You want Spain to win so bad? Your team's mostly Spain? Yeah, same here. Oh, sorry. Does it still say Olmo's captaincy? Apologies. I've just changed that now, so that should change immediately. Sorry about that, guys. Pickford and 3 Spanish defenders, or Simon and 2 Spanish defenders. I don't really think there's too much of a difference, but I think Guehi's a lot better at ball recoveries than most, so that makes a huge difference. Hope Yamal proves himself again today. Me too. Is Rodri on pens? Yes. Kane, I'm betting against Kane. You're chasing world rank. What's the best option? As I said, probably go for a couple more English players, captain English player as well. Spain posted a lineup in 38 minutes ago and England 10 minutes ago. Yeah, Spain posted a lineup a lot earlier because I think the deadline, or when the official lineups get revealed, is usually 1 hour and 10 minutes before the game starts. So England obviously revealed their lineup on time, and then Spain did it ahead of time, if that makes sense. You're captaining Bellingham with English defender and Palmer as an impact maker. Fair enough. Chasing 7 points, best captaincy. I think Foden's still great. Is Walker a good pick? Walker's always a good pick. The lineups are revealed. Yep, they are indeed. Bellingham, Cucurella, or Williams from the lead. I think if you're leading already, you'd probably go Bellingham, I'd suppose. What's the reasoning behind playing Rice over? I'm sort of betting for a result where England don't score and that Spain keep their clean sheet. So I've gone for Rice, someone who can get points from ball recoveries in that sort of ideal situation. You think the Golden Boot will get an outright winner tonight? Look, I mean, if Rodri puts on a masterclass, there's that. Nah, I don't play Sorare anymore, Zodiac. I left the chat as well. I just don't have enough time to play Sorare at all. I think I manage other games, especially sort of money leagues as well. And I prefer fantasy formats in general, like compared to just free hitting. And I enjoyed Sorare, but I think it's just because I don't think I could see myself even gaining that much money in it. So I just don't even see what's the point. There are games, if I really wanted to bet on fantasy using my knowledge, that I can actually make some serious money on, as opposed to Sorare. So I just I stopped it because I don't really care about it. In FPL is Cole Palmer. I don't think he's overpriced, but I think he's clearly not set and forget, which means that you'd only ever which means you'll only ever get Cole Palmer on a good Chelsea run, if that makes sense. So, for example, to start the season, Liverpool probably have the best fixture run. Then I would say Man City. Now, obviously, my understanding of fixtures is not based on, for example, the actual difficulty of the opponent's fixtures, but rather sort of taking into account how strong you are as a team. So, obviously, given that I think Liverpool and City are very good teams, anyways, as I said, I think Liverpool have the best fixture run as far as I can see, then City, then teams like Arsenal, obviously, then Villa, etc. So because Chelsea don't start the season with a great fixture run, there's no reason to start the season with Cole Palmer. But you can always go Cole Palmer at one point in the season in FPL, which I think is going to be what is going to happen. So, for example, when Liverpool have a colder run of games, if let's say we tend to see that Salah is getting substituted early, we might have space for Palmer, we might have space for Saka or Foden. I appreciate that, Zodiac. Yeah, I know you're very into it as well, but yeah, when I missed out like one or two sort of selections on So Rare, and I realized I just didn't have time for it, I just realized, I'm not that into it, I suppose, after the first week where it was super fun. Who's my regular caption versus regular versus differential? I think regular is like Yamal or Olmo. Differential is probably Foden. Even Rodri is not a bad captaincy. Would you ever be an analytic for a pro team? I mean, I don't think my skill sets are right now as an analyst, I suppose. I mean, I definitely do analyze data, but it's not like I have a team model. I have friends that create team models. I have friends that model, teams and players as well. But for now, no, I don't see that really being my job. I don't really have a background like that. You're backing Spain and keeping Pickford, didn't understand. Yeah, but can you explain to me, Nikhil, how you can create a lineup that is going to back 8 Spanish players and not have any English players that would be affected by the fact that Spain are going to be backed? I'm not really sure what your point is. You have to go 3 English players anyways. Rice captaincy, 7 points behind in your mini league. I don't think that's awful, but I'm not sure if Rice's ceiling is going to be that high, to be fair, but it's up to you. Obviously, he can score that one banger, and I could be proven wrong, but there's that too. Why not Morata over Cucurella? Just backing a clean sheet for Spain, to be honest. What is my full-time job? I'm not full-time at all in terms of fantasy content. I work as an auditor. With a face like that. Foden and 4 Spanish midfielders or 3 Spanish, no Nicolas. I think you can definitely go 3 Spain and Foden plus another English midfielder. Why not Bellingham over Rice? As I said, just ball recoveries. If I'm expecting and hoping, of course, that England don't score in a unlikely situation, I don't really mind the idea of just going for the players that I've gone for, right? Rice, for example, for ball recoveries. Luke Shaw over Guehi for differential. I can't drop Guehi because I don't have enough free transfers. Captain Rodri. Yeah, you can absolutely captain Rodri if you want to. As I said, I think he's definitely within my top 3 Spanish picks for this week. Top 2 Spanish mids, I'd say probably Rodri and Olmo. Guehi captaincy, that's not too bad, to be fair. Do you think sports analysts are underpaid? As far as I understand, I think they are, because of course clubs know that a lot of people have a passion towards football, and so as far as I understand, in terms of salaries of people working in top Premier League clubs, the salaries are actually a little bit lower than market salaries for different professions. Spain clean sheet probability, I think it's 36% to England's 29%. Why not Shaw? I don't have a transfer to really move into Shaw, and ultimately I'm backing a Spanish result anyways, and if I am, that means I'm probably not predicting a Shaw sort of attacking return. Debating Shaw captaincy, hoping he gets pulled at 70 minutes. It's not a bad option. And I think he will get pulled out eventually pre-90. Do you think Rodri will play offensive or defense? I mean, he's always going to play defensive. Did I miss a comment from you, Trini? Have I faded you? I'm so confused. This is the first time I've seen your comment today, Trini, but I hope you're doing well, my friend. Do I think Olmo will be the lone player to get the golden boot? Look, do I think so? I don't know. Do I hope so? Sure. You wish there was a bench boost, your team is stacked? Well, I mean, but I think that's how planning, I guess, the game works, right? If you're backing a Spain clean sheet, why not Morata over Ruiz? I'm not sure why that even matters. Ruiz would actually get a clean sheet point over Morata, right? Surely. How do I get Foden in with Saka, Bellingham, Olmo, Ruiz, Williams? Who do I take out for Foden? I'd probably drop Williams in that situation if you really wanted to. Would you rather drop Nico Ruiz? I'd probably drop Nico first. No Kane. Yep, just sort of backing an anti-English result, but that's just my decision. Fran, do you think Arda Güler can take Kroos? I mean, there's no way Arda Güler can take Kroos's position because when like Arda Güler does not play football any sort of way like Kroos. Tony literally plays almost like a DM sometimes. You know, he moves into almost like a center back type position and he sort of distributes the ball and controls it from there. Arda's gonna be like, I mean, if it's possible, if Arda can play something like, you know, the way Martin Odegaard does, then of course that's something that we'd be keenly looking forward to. Whether it's possible, I don't really know, but I hope that can happen. In terms of at least him being able to start for Madrid consistently, but I don't know whether it's possible. Do you recommend captaining a defender for safety? I would say some of the leading attacking options I still probably prefer, but I don't think defenders are bad at all. Why Rice? Just backing an anti sort of English goal scoring result, so just Rice for the ball recoveries. Fran, the man of the plan, need your advice. What for? I already have 9 players in my team for the finals with 5 free transfers. Yeah, I mean, look, you can make decisions. Like what I've done is that I've gone, for example, out of Bellingham to Rice. I've gone out of Saka into Fabian Ruiz. I've gone out of some other players. Like, for example, I've gone out of Simon to Pickford just because, like, if I'm expecting, for example, like the logic that I have is this: if I expect Spain to score, at least Pickford can make some saves in such a situation. Guehi will always get ball recoveries and Rice will always get ball recoveries. So I don't really need anything else in a situation where I'm hoping, of course, Spain, you know, win all out, like 2-0, 3-0, that sort of thing. It's unlikely, obviously, that happens. But I think, as I said, the key thing about a final or one game week or one fixture, and if you're betting against one fixture, is that you can't just suddenly pick 6 Spanish, 5 English and hope that a result kind of, you know, is both teams to score, every single player in your team scores. It's going to go one-sided to one direction, if that makes sense. So I'm just betting towards one direction and I'm chasing as well. If I was trying to have a little bit more of a well-balanced team, this team would definitely have Kane. This team would probably still have Foden, I would say. Probably not triple Spain defense, but at the same time, it's not too different. I think a lot of people actually do, at the end of the day, have 2 English defense, 3 Spanish defense. Probably a little bit more balanced in terms of the offense, but that's it. Carvajal, captain. I don't think it's not a bad idea. Am I Canadian? No. I did grow up in Hong Kong in an international school, hence my accent per se. What do you think about putting Foden and Saka? Nothing really wrong with that if you want to keep them. Drop Kane, Ruiz, or Bellingham. I'd probably drop Bellingham. You're good to go Rodri captain. I think that's actually really very interesting punt. So I back it. If you had to choose between Fabian Ruiz and Rodri, I'd probably go Rodri. Have I used all my 5 free transfers? Yes, I have. There are no substitutions in this game, so you don't need substitutions. If every single player in your team starts, you have absolutely no use for substitutions at all. Why did I choose Rice? Just for the ball recoveries. I'm hoping that Spain will keep a clean sheet. Obviously, it's unlikely. As I said, Spain have a 36% chance of keeping a clean sheet only, but I'd rather back a Spain result because I'm also Spanish. If you had one more free transfer, would you switch any of your English players? I mean, if I could go 11 Spain, I would go 11 Spain, no joke. Who should I captain? It's not because I'm not confident that Spain will win, right? I think, you know, reasonably speaking, Spain only have a 55-60% chance to win, something like that. But of course, I'd rather back a Spanish result. Bring in Menu as differential chasing. I'd probably prefer just the captaincy twist in terms of differentials. And, you know, Luke Shaw is not a bad differential either. Because I think Menu, like, realistically, what's going to happen? Are you really predicting, like, a Menu man of the match? It could happen, of course, but I'm not really quite sure he's got that many chances to steal the show, if that makes sense, with so many big players in the game as well. And obviously, England already sort of unfavored. The only use for a sub could be that you start someone who might play 0 minutes. I mean, how's that even possible? We already have the starting lineups. Um, is Yamal a good captaincy? I think absolutely. Him and Olmo, Rodri are all fantastic. If you want to go Carvajal for the sort of set piece plus the attacking return element, there's that too. And then, within sort of English differential situations, you've obviously got a ton of English players to go for, like Kane and Foden, or even, Bellingham, Saka, etc. Why go Yamal over Olmo? Just hoping that he becomes the man of the match. That's it, really. Someone could get injured in warm up technically, yeah, but you'd still find that out, I suppose, right? If someone gets injured in the warm up, you're gonna find out before the game starts. But I'm not predicting for that to happen. And I don't care enough, frankly, for that to happen. You're 6 points ahead, but you don't have one defender. Should you get a new defender for 4 points? No, just keep it the same. Keep it the same. Keep it the same unless you've got a Spanish defender in your mind that you really want to go for. Because I think -4 points is obviously quite a big hit to take. Would you take Saka or Foden? I'd probably take Foden personally, just for the differential chase. Sure, starting left wing back, is he a good? I mean, he looked pretty good in the Netherlands game. Like, he looked fit. But once again, as I said, clean sheet odds for England are a little bit less. Really comes down to whether you think Shaw can get attacking return, and obviously, if you want to go for that, there's that situation too. If you're backing a Spain clean sheet for Spain defense plus goalkeeper, makes sense instead of 4 Spanish midfielder, considering Yamal is there already. I mean, just because I'm backing clean sheet doesn't mean that I'm not backing that Spain will score, though, if that makes sense. Gifting 5 memberships. Fran kept content going for Euros and great insights. Make sure you also follow for FPL. Thank you so much, Tiggy. Once again, I really, 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 truly appreciate the support in the channel so far. Been really lovely seeing the support you have for all the sort of youngsters from both Spain and England, frankly. And I really appreciate you once again, as I said. And I hope you can return to Spain. Another thing that we sort of discussed as well. Soldier Boy, congrats. Nixie, Mohammed, Edvix, Callum, congratulations all on your memberships. Please do thank Tiggy as well for being so kind and generous. Yeah. Wino Kane, as I said, just backing an anti sort of England goal scoring result. I think definitely there's an argument to say that I could have gone 5 Spanish defense, but what I'm also sort of expecting is that Spain will score. So there's obviously a balance to be had. Is it correct to say Viva España? Asking for social media purpose. I think you can do that. That's fine. Tiggy the legend, absolutely. Yep. Thank you, Tiggy, once again. Why do you prefer Yamal captain over Olmo? I just think he's our most instrumental player, and I think he plays slightly more minutes than Dani Olmo, and I think hopefully he can be the man of match once again as our key player. But obviously Olmo has been brilliant this tournament, and I don't think Olmo's a bad captaincy at all. Why Declan Rice ball recoveries? What do you mean? So I think if I'm not expecting England to score, I mean, how else do I expect English players to get points? So I'm just sort of prioritizing ball recoveries from those sorts of players and hoping for a result from that sort of avenue. Now, I obviously recognize that England have a really good chance to score still, and the clean sheet odds are sub 50% for Spain's. But as I said, because you're sort of betting on one game scenario, you need to sort of lean towards a certain result, if that makes sense. Even though it might be not EV positive, I suppose. Do you think Yamal's the next Messi? No, I think that's too ridiculous to say that, but hopefully he is, because I'm Spanish and I get to see him for the next, hopefully, I don't know, 15 years of my life. Thoughts on playing 3-4-3? Nothing wrong with that. That's probably, so you're going Morata and dropping, let's say, someone like Nico Williams, maybe? I think that's not too bad. Give me the 3 best captaincy options, not counting man of the match. Not counting man of the match, huh? So, I mean, we might as well just go with the goal scoring odds, right? So I think in that order, I would actually say it's Olmo, then Kane, then Yamal. That's probably my 3 best options, not counting man of the match. You're chasing 2 points. Should I play... If you are chasing 2 points, you should play optimal as you can. I agree with that. Yeah, 100%. Chasing 5 points is a captaincy and Foden plus sure enough. I actually agree with the general sentiment that Cheddarman has put out there. If you're only chasing 2 to 3 points and you think that your team might be stronger than, let's say, the first placed player within your own sort of situation, then I think it makes a lot more sense to just go with stronger captaincies per se, like Olmo, like Kane, for example. Not chasing soccer captain. I don't love soccer captain, to be honest. Spain to score 5 goals, hopefully. That would probably make my life. Do you guys think we should still do a watch along? Who's the coldest player in your opinion? Why is it Cole Palmer? That's a little bit of a loaded question. Nico Williams only scored versus Georgia. Is not a bit concerning. Think of switching him to Fabian Ruiz. Yes, because, I mean, the thing is, though, I don't think you should look at it like that. Like, I think he's had chances to do well in certain game situations. You're chasing 40 points. I think you just have to go 8 England. Probably go for Shaw, go Foden, go Rice. Like, anyone who's basically low ownership, you just stack as many of those players as possible and then back an anti-Spain result. And even within the Spanish players that you pick the lower EO options. So, for example, like go Lenormand as an option, right? Things like that. I mean, there's no other choice. I will do a watch along, yep. But sorry, going back to the point though, in terms of Guehi or Shaw, I'd probably back Guehi up for ball recoveries. But if you want to go Shaw for the attacking narrative, there's always that. Simon or Pickford, I think it just comes down to the rest of your team first. So, choose based on, like, I think I would choose the goalkeeper. I would choose the goalkeeper last because the goalkeeper is like, if you think about projections, right? Goalkeepers are probably the least valuable players in your team, especially in a both teams to score situation. So the reality is goalkeepers are the most worthless. And so you should think about them the last. If you're going to go for a certain goalkeeper, and you have the room to, let's say, go for a Spanish goalkeeper because they clean sheets, I'd probably do that. But otherwise, there's nothing wrong with just going for Pickford, like I have within my situation of going for Pickford, expecting the least from him, which is totally fine because I'm sort of backing Spanish players anyways. Nico Williams or Rice, I'd probably actually go Rice in that situation. Do you think it's a good idea to drop Bellingham for Fabian Ruiz? It's up to you, as I said. Like, if you back an English result, there's obviously no reason to really do that drop. They're very similar. You want to bet 1,000 that Pickford is at least going to scream after making a routine save. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know who's going to offer you good money for that because he's going to do it for sure. Rice better than Saka Bellingham? I wouldn't necessarily say so, no. I'm just sort of backing a specific sort of scenario where I think England won't do very much. Fantastic, you've got Spain as well. Thanks. 8 Spain, sorry. Best differential captain, I kind of like Foden. What do you think about captaining Rice? I think the ceiling's a little bit low, but it's up to you. I mean, I don't know why you'd like to captain Rice beyond just the fact that he might be low owned. I just think, as I said, the ceiling's low, but of course there could be a banger. Why did you remove Foden? I've decided to go a little bit more all in to Spain, having a bit more of a dominant game, simply just because I'm backing Spain anyways, and that's it. Nothing really against Foden. I don't really want it to be both teams to score as a Spaniard anyways, and I'd rather back a certain result, and that's what I've gone for. Alexander Sarek says, leading 6 points, should I go Olmo, Ruiz, Bellingham, Rice, and do more balanced team? I think those are all great midfielders. So yeah, I think that looks very well balanced. Yamal is going to something Shaw on that side. Well, very well, but I think of course the English team are not going to, like, I mean, it's not this, like, football is not a 1-versus-1 game, right? A lot of people were saying that Mbappe was going to do the same versus Navas, and okay, fine, Mbappe definitely did get an assist, and Navas dropped off a lot, but it's not like it's not like you can't play football, with such a one-sided matchup, right? There are midfielders that will support. There are center backs that will support. Like, for example, when Vinicius plays for Real Madrid, a lot of people you'll see will just have the right center back, effectively anchor the right back who's defending against Vinny. And unless it's Walker, that needs to be done. Carvajal on the left with Yamal, that will be that. I just love the Carvajal and Yamal sort of pairing. That would be nice. You claim goalkeepers are the least valuable. Do you therefore prefer Rice / Foden with Pickford over Bellingham with Simon? I just don't think it makes a huge difference, right? Because I think Bellingham is so close to the other English midfielders, and Simon has better clean sheet odds. So that's why I think Simon is still better. I'm just saying that if you compare Simon to Pickford, Simon on paper is better. But I'm saying if you compare goalkeepers to midfielders, they're obviously vastly inferior. And the same thing with goalkeepers to defenders who can get ball recovery points. Who's the safest captaincy? I would still say, I still think it's Olmo or Yamal personally, but you can go Kane of course too. Kane or Morata, I'd probably go Kane honestly if I was a logical sort of man. Who's Spain's penalty taker? It should be Rodri. Guecki or Walker. Santiago, I'm gonna have to put you in timeout because we don't want to spam in the chat. But I think I would go for Olmo captaincy if you want sort of a safe 4 points. Ruiz or Foden? I'd probably go Foden if I was chasing Ruiz otherwise. Hey Fran, you're trying to build your data analyst skills and currently work as a data analyst intern. Would love to work with some FPL YouTubers. Yeah, I mean you can discuss with me anytime, but I mean, I'm not really sure necessarily what I can help you out with. I mean, another point to mention is that there are already a lot of tools within, data within the FPL space. We have like fully fledged models and things like that, and services like Hub, for example, that provide you a lot of that projected data, and use partners like Opta, for example, who track data and sort of build packages for FPL. So yeah, can you rank the Spanish mids? I'd say probably Olmo, Rodri, Ruiz in that order. Spanish midfielders. Walker or Kane, I'd probably drop Walker personally. Start Shaw, Walker, or Jones. I'd probably start, or Stone, sorry. I'd start Shaw. Edst, you rank top 200 best you've ever done. Backing Rice captain to guarantee 4+ points. Fair enough if you want to sort of close out on a high. Well done. Congratulations. Spanish defender options for captaincy. I think Carvajal is the most interesting, right? Because he's always going to have the most odds to get an attacking return for us, within the Spanish team. Why no Kane? Don't you want both penalty takers? As I said, I'm not really hedging towards both sides. I'm very clearly creating a team that is hedged very, very strongly towards a Spanish dominant result. Is it going to happen? Likely, no. Does it make a lot of sense to have Kane in your team? Absolutely, it does. If England wins, that's fine. But I'm not going to go against my Spain, and I'm already chasing, right? It's not like I'm top 5 in the world, top 100, trying to close down my team and make it as safe as possible. I'm still trying to chase, even in the final match day, within the lens of going for Spanish picks, and that's why I've gone for this team. Shaw over Laporte as differential. I think that's fine as differential for sure. Yeah. Why Rice over Walker or Shaw, for example? What do you mean by why Rice over Walker? As in, I think the biggest thing is that Rice has actually averaged more ball recoveries than Walker, and he's also averaged more ball recoveries than... Well, actually, Shaw has small sample size, so I don't think it's really fair to judge Shaw based on the 60-odd minutes he's played. Any recommendations on this midfield? William, almost Ruiz, Saka, Bellingham. You want Foden, but I don't think you necessarily need to have Foden. But I think if you want to replace Foden within one of the players in your team, I'd probably replace Williams. If you want to back England, if you want to back Spain, just drop Saka probably. Defenders to keep 3 or 4. It's up to you. Like, it depends on you what formation you want, right? Saka or Foden, I'd probably go Foden. Saka or Bellingham, I'd probably go Bellingham. You hope Yamal gets to play 90 minutes plus press conference. That would be so funny. Why Yamal over Olmo captaincy? Just a little bit of a man of match sort of hope, if that makes sense. And just the more minutes that he plays, I think has a little bit of elements to adding towards that sort of man of the match aspect. Nico Williams or Foden as captaincy. I'd probably go Foden personally. Nico Ruiz, as I can only have one, I'd go Ruiz. I think Nico Williams is probably my least preferred Spanish midfielder, if I'm being honest. But obviously, he can still be very effective. He's a very direct player. He's very explosive, but he's against Kyle Walker as well. Gregory, I'm just going to have to put you in timeout, but I'd go Foden. You feel like Bellingham will win the Euro too? Fair enough, if you want to go for Bellingham. Best England midfielder, I'd probably say, either... I think it's really the 3 between Bellingham, Rice, and Foden. I think Rice is, your very classic high floor, low ceiling pick. Bellingham and Foden obviously can be much more explosive, but it's also expected to be a pretty tame game, right? As most finals are. So, keep that in mind. But Foden, I think, is nice because of the differential aspect. So that's another thing to think about. If a player miss, who would they auto sub first bench? Yeah, but I mean, I just don't see how there's a situation where we're going to find like miss on players. We have lineups, and yeah, I'm not seeing it. Spain 3, England 0. Hopefully. Captain rankings in terms of being safe. I think almost the safest one. Kane probably after that. Maybe Yamal after that. Drop Rodri or start Morata. I'd probably drop. What do you mean by drop Rodri though? I'm sorry. I don't get it. Drop Rodri or start Morata. How does that really work? Don't you mean start Rodri or start Morata, or how does it work for you? I'd play Rodri over Morata for sure. Morata or Bellingham, I'd probably go Bellingham. Guehi or Shaw, I'd probably go Guehi just for the safety of the ball recoveries, but it's up to you. Almost captaincy, I think he's probably the safest, strongest captain. Laporte to Lenormand as a slight differential, I'd probably go. I mean, if you can afford it, go for it. But keep in mind, one of the things that concerns me is that Lenormand 45-minute substitution versus Germany. If that can happen because you get one yellow card and you're suspended anyways, I just think it could happen again. So I think I'd still prefer Laporte, but it's up to you. Differential captain for my team. I mean, within my own team, I'd probably captain Rodri as a differential. Do you think it's a good idea to drop Bellingham for Fabian Ruiz? I don't think you need to do it personally. I don't think you need to do it. Why no Kane? Just backing a full sort of Spain dominant result. Not that I'm saying it's going to happen. Not that I'm saying it's logical. I'm just trying to bet against a sort of specific result, or bet towards a specific result, because it's just one game and I'm backing sort of a Spain win here. Nico or Saka? I'd probably go Saka still. Rice over Saka or Bellingham? I think you can do that if you're sort of expecting a similar sort of outcome like me. Safest captaincy, I think probably Olmo, just because it's such a popular captaincy pick. Bellingham or Rice? I mean, let's do a captaincy poll, right? Just to kind of get a flavor of that. Cucurella, Carvajal? I'd probably go Carvajal if you really back an attacking result there. But otherwise, I'd go Cucurella just because he's had better ball recoveries so far. And I can't see that changing too much. I'm gonna do Olmo, Kane, Yamal because I think they're the most popular options. But if you want to just vote for another option, I think that's totally fine. I'm gonna unpin the Spanish lineups because I think people already know that. Best captain if you don't chase, I think it's probably Olmo is probably the best captaincy if you're not chasing, because I think, as you can see, Olmo is such a popular pick. If you're trying to sort of keep it safe in your mini leagues, you've done well. You want to consolidate your position. At the end of the day, it seems like most people are going for Olmo captaincy anyways. So you kind of probably will have the most dominant popular captaincy. You don't think Walker will pocket Nico Williams? I mean, it's possible, but I mean, I don't think football just necessarily works like that, right? For example, Vinicius has been quote unquote pocketed by Walker before, but it's not like he's been unable to score versus Man City. If I hope that makes sense to you. Football is not necessarily like a zonal game where it's like one-on-ones versus one-on-ones versus one-on-ones. It's not like, for example, that Liverpool never gets scored on the right hand side. Everyone scores through Trent. That's just not really how it works. Somehow you're still in the top 500, but you want to reach top 100. Your only hope is to go full differential. Fair enough, ABC. But I hope it can still work out for you in some way. FPL Kai, Cucurella, Carvajal. I think it comes down to whether you really want to back an attacking result from Carvajal, because he's more likely to get an attacking sort of return, versus Cucurella, who's a bit safer in ball recoveries. Rice or Foden captain for chasing? I think Foden, just for, if you're chasing a lot. Do I expect that Foden's ceiling could be a bit higher than Rice? Yes. So I think Foden. Bye, Tiggy. Best of luck. Off to watch the build-up. Rodri, Ballon d'Or incoming. Awesome. Thoughts on Watkins? I mean, I just think it's too much of a risk. But if you really think that he can get an attacking return as a substitute and you're chasing, go for it. But does it make sense to really start with Watkins? In my opinion, no, but it's up to you. Thoughts on Watkins? Sorry, I haven't answered that. Simon or Pickford? I think, as I said previously in the chat, like, you should probably pick your goalkeeper last. So try to think about that as a perspective. Like, the reason why I have Pickford is not because I think Pickford's going to miraculously keep a clean sheet or something like that, but it's because I care less about Pickford. And I think part of the decision on, which Spanish pick to get, like Yamal, like Olmo, like Rodri, you're just sort of picking the player of the match, if that makes sense, right? Like, I think Yamal is most likely to get player of the match. That's just my guess. So that's sort of why I'm leaning towards that direction with captaincy. But otherwise, of course, Rodri and Olmo just make a lot of sense. Yamal obviously will get less points for scoring a goal, and his goal projections are actually the same as Olmo. But I think at the same time, Yamal is probably going to play a little bit more minutes compared to Dani Olmo. So I quite like that aspect. As far as Rodri, of you're sort of also preying on results like penalties, like ball recoveries, things like that. you won't stress too much. Pepjin, I think that makes sense. Is Shaw worth to try? I think Shaw is definitely worth to try, but I'm gonna have to put you in timeout because we don't like spamming the chat. So if you could choose, would you do Simon over Pickford? Yeah, I definitely would, just for the clean sheet odds. If Kane gets substituted, who's England's penalty taker? It depends on who's substituting him. For example, if Tony comes in, I think Tony will take the penalty. If Watkins comes in, I think it's less likely that Watkins will take the penalty. I think actually it might go towards someone like Bukayo Saka, who is, like a leading penalty taker within, the just the domestic sort of English team. Yeah, I mean, like, it also, it depends on whether even Palmer, for example, has come onto the field, because he can take penalties, right? He has a very, very, very good long-standing penalty record. So I think it's between players like Saka, like Palmer. But obviously, if Tony comes on, then it's Tony. I just think Walker is unlikely to take penalties, even though I think he can, just based on his traditional penalty record. What are the chances Yamal takes a penalty? I think unlikely. The person who should take penalties for Spain is going to be Rodri. Rice or Foden if you're chasing? I tend to think Foden, personally. I think having Rice in the team is lovely, though. Bench run, Rodri, Morata, Bellingham. I'd probably bench Morata. Saka, Bellingham, Rodri, Foden, keep 2. I'd probably go... I'd probably bench Morata, and I've already answered that question, so I'll just have to put you in timeout for a bit. Olmo and Rodri or Olmo and Ruiz? I'd probably go Olmo and Rodri, but it's very close. If Spain win, what can we say instead of it's coming home? Kind of like it's coming Rome from 2020. I don't actually know a funny one, like a sort of play on, a Spanish iteration of it's coming home, so I'm not sure. But I'll need to think about that one in the meantime. I want Bellingham to blank, even though I own him. Fair enough. Yeah, hopefully Bellingham gets those ball recoveries, yeah. Why didn't I captain Olmo? Why Yamal? Just a little bit of a bet, internally on player of the match. I think Olmo's fantastic. I think Rodri's fantastic too. Those are sort of my preferred options, but it's all close. You think Rice is better than Bellingham? Not necessarily, no. I just think he's got a higher floor than Bellingham. How do you think the game will end? I'm not really going to predict. I'm Spanish. I'm biased. I want Spain to dominate, and that's it. I'm going to be, it's coming hombre. I don't know about that. That's doesn't even make sense, right? You think, I guess it's coming, comma, hombre, but then it's also targeted to, I don't know, I guess exclusively English male fans, or it's coming home because it's okay. That's funny. That's actually not bad though. That's actually not too bad. That's actually quite good. Spain defense for captain. I think Carvajal's nice if you really want to go for an attacking captaincy. Carlos Alcaraz set the tone. Absolutely, he did. Wonderful win from Carlitos there. Rodri's on fire. Your defense is terrified. That's good. Good chant. Not sure if it's like I'm not sure if it's a one-liner I would drop on someone, but yeah. You ain't Spanish, tried your best. That was good. That was a good shot. Who would you captain between Kane, Yamal, Saka, Foden, Olmo? You're biased England fan, so I mean, go for Kane. Go for Kane. I think if you're biased. You're currently in second place in your league, trailing by only 2 points. You intend to captain Olmo, but suspect your rival will do the same. I mean, if you're leading or you're trailing, actually, I mean, I guess Yamal's not a bad captaincy, yeah. 1 point behind in the league. What Spain, England split would you go for? I'd probably go 7-4. Why didn't you captain Olmo and went for Yamal? I just decided to back Yamal for the sort of player of the match element in the end. Bellingham, Saka, Morata. Sorry, I don't know if you answered. I'd probably go Bellingham, Saka personally. Nico Williams or Rodri, I'd go Rodri. Foden, Bellingham, I'd probably go Foden. If you're chasing Bellingham otherwise, thanks, mate. No problem, Swish. As a Spaniard, you think Alcaraz can surpass Nadal's legacy? Yeah, I think he actually can. And I don't think that's insulting to Nadal at all. I just think it just speaks to how good, Carlos is as a player. Nico or Ruiz, I'd probably go I'd go Rodri and Ruiz over Nico, but I'm gonna have to put you in timeout. The nobody. Right, so Rodri, I think just back the player that you think is going to win, but I think I would tentatively say Rodri because he's also a potential penalty taker, right? You don't think you need someone with experience for the final, Kane / Carvajal? I mean, I have Carvajal on my team now. I just don't understand what the point about experience is, right? When Rodri scored the goal in the Champions League final, could you ever say that he had experience in a Champions League final? Of course not. Or even a big game final? Not really. But he did it because he's a world-class player, and that's what world-class players do. So I'm not too worried about, like, has Carvajal ever scored in a Champions League final? No, but he did it this time around. So, you know, experience to me doesn't really mean anything. It's a very arbitrary term. Like, a lot of these players have experience because they've been put in very tough situations in domestic football. Like, Rodri plays for a world-class team and has been as deep as it possibly gets. So has Carvajal, but yeah. I also think there's a lot of first-time sort of debut finals sort of players who do wonderfully, right? Jordi Alba for Spain many years ago did well. No questions, just saying hi and thanks for streaming. Hope you're doing well, Midnight Mule. Appreciate you coming along. Best of luck and thanks for coming along. Best English defender. I mean, if you want to go Shaw, I think it's totally fine. No real concerns for going Shaw. I just didn't have the space for the additional transfer, and I kind of just backed the ball recoveries for Guehi, so I've gone for Guehi. And I'm also kind of against backing an English attack in return, right? What about Rodri captain? I think that could make sense, yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Fran, Olmo, Yamal captain. I think Olmo's objectively the best captain, but I think I'm just going Yamal for the player of the match narrative once again. Your captain tonight is Carvajal. You're first in 4 leagues. Hoping Carvajal will take you over the line. Good luck. That's a very daring captaincy, I have to be quite honest, but I hope it works out for you. Bellingham, photo, Rice. I think if you're leading the league, I would just go with Rice and Bellingham personally, because there's no reason for you to go for a differential. My face is a 9 out of 10, voice is 10 out of 10. Well, still good ratings, I'd say. Guehi or Stones, I'd probably go Guehi for sure. I just don't think that Stones has done, like, outside of maybe a slightly higher player of the match shout, which I think is even, debatable. For the most part, Guehi is so much better at ball recoveries compared to Stones. I don't think there's any situations where I would go, for example, like Guehi over, go Stones over Guehi. Photo or Saka to start, I'd probably go Foden if you're chasing, Saka otherwise. Best limitless team, I mean, everyone's team is limitless, so it doesn't really change anything. Like, I would say the best team, I mean, it depends, right? In my opinion, unfortunately, with the way one singular fixture works, you need to make sure that you craft a team that sort of suits a specific end goal, if that makes sense. So, for example, you could, in theory, go for the best players all over the park. So that would include Kane, for example. That would include maybe Shaw. But for the most part, it would be a team quite like this. And it could be maybe like 7 Spain, 4 England, or, maybe 6-5. But I don't think that the team will change too much. Just give a consideration to going Kane. I would drop Nico Williams in that situation. For example, I think I would go Olmo, Rice, Kane. Yeah, I think I would just drop Nico Williams for Kane, and I'd probably go for a pretty similar team selection, if I'm being honest, on Limitless, if I wasn't as biased towards Spain. Nice content. You think Saka instead of Rice? I think Saka instead of Rice is totally fine. Yamal or Rodri, you're behind but 10 points captain. I'd probably go Rodri if you're chasing for sure, Cathal. Saka or Bellingham, I'd probably back Bellingham because I just lean towards goals a little bit more, but it's up to you. Do you watch games with a Spanish commentator or a boring English one? Sadly, a boring English one, because obviously the live stream that I get living in London is going to be a boring English one. I don't have access to like a Spanish stream, for example. Shaw is going to have a rough game versus Yamal. Yeah, he very well could, but of course, as I said, football is not a one-on-one sport, so he will be supported by some other English players, right? Saka or Bellingham, I think there's really not too much between them. Obviously, assist a little bit Saka dominant, Bellingham a little bit more goal dominant, back the narrative that you want. Who to pick for first bench, Morata or Laporte? I'd probably go Laporte. Yamal captain confirmed. Yep, it is for me. Foden or Fabian Ruiz? I would say if you're chasing Foden, otherwise I'd go Fabian Ruiz. Laporte and Pickford or Shaw and Unai Simon? I'd probably go Laporte and Pickford personally, just for the ball recovery aspect of Laporte. Shaw will get smashed by young Yamal. Hopefully. I'm going to stop the captaincy poll as well. As you can see, it seems like Shaw is an extremely popular Yamal is a... once again, almost a very popular captaincy, and Yamal actually the second, and Kane not that popular. A lot of people seemingly wanting to other as well, so I think other obviously signifies differentials like like Foden, like Rodri, like even Carvajal, or even, for example, some of the midfielders from England. But as you can see, the most dominant Spanish sort of captaincy will probably be Olmo, Yamal, these sorts of picks. So if you go against the grain, if you want to chase rank the most, it could work out to captain someone else. Foden or Nico, you're chasing 5 points. I'd probably go Foden if you're chasing. Cucurella or Laporte, I'd probably go Laporte just because he has slightly better ball recoveries. Should you transfer Nico Williams out for Bellingham? I think that actually makes sense. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Foden or Fabian Ruiz? As I said, I've answered that question. Cucurella Carvajal, I'd probably go Cucurella for the ball recoveries, but if you really think that a Spanish attacking return is plausible, which I think is honestly quite likely, because Carvajal is our most sort of expansive defender, I would go Carvajal. Because he's not too far behind the average of what Cucurella gets for ball recovery. So I think it's very likely that Carvajal is a better pick. Best 3 players from England, I'd probably say Kane. Midfielder, I think it's honestly it's up in the air, and then I think it's Guehi last. Am I single? No, I'm actually married. Olmo or Yamal, captain, who is the best numbers? I think Olmo actually has very similar numbers to Yamal. Now, Yamal has led the tournament in Spain for expected goal involvement, which is huge. Now, going back to it, though, of course, because Olmo's a midfielder, he's going to get more points for a goal anyways compared to Yamal, and he's going to get clean sheet points potentially. So, of course, Olmo, in theory, is the better captaincy option if you just look at goal projections. But, of course, if man of the match is something that's quite important to you, you know, very well, it could be the case that, honestly, I'm tempted by Rodri. I'm chasing. I don't have the best rank at all. I'm pretty tempted to go Rodri. Um, I'm pretty tempted. 3-1 Spain, final answer. Kane or Bellingham? I'd go Kane. 4-5-1 or 3-5-2 or 3-4-3. I think it really just depends. I think the highest floor is probably going to be just mostly ball recoveries. Faisal, sorry. If you want to correct my pronunciation, feel free to do so. I'd probably go for more ball recovery. So the reason why I've actually gone for only 4 defenders here is because there's not too many defenders in the game that actually have a lot of ball recoveries beyond 6. And I think there's actually midfielders like Rodri and Rice who have similar. And obviously the clean sheet odds aren't that high anyway, so it's actually quite similar between, let's say, defenders versus midfielders. Obviously defenders can also lose points for conceding 2 goals, so it's very close. Ballon d'Or for Rodri if he wins this one. Yeah, it could very well go Rodri's way. Ruiz or Nico Williams to start, I'd probably go Fabian Ruiz still. Should I captain Saka? I probably wouldn't. I'm not sure if I love him. Rodri loves big games. Would I captain? You're behind 6-point Yamal, Olmo, Ruiz. I'd probably captain. If you're behind, I'd probably actually say Ruiz is actually an interesting captaincy shout. Pickford or Simon? I'd probably go Simon in isolation. Would you start Cucurella or Shaw? I'd also have Guehi. I'd probably go Cucurella. Luck will run out for England today. Your captain is Rodri, but you think Yamal's ceiling and chance of man of the match is higher. I think that's sort of my issue, right? If I'm expecting a little bit more of a dominant Spain win, I guess it leans more towards Yamal and Olmo, which means that I'm probably against Rodri. But then, of course, if it's 1-0 Rodri, then, you know, it's like the most Rodri man of the match ever. Rodri has the clutch gene. Please answer Morata or Nico. I'd probably go Nico personally. If you have 3 transfers left, should you use them on the bench? Yeah, why not? But there's no opportunity for subs at all, so it doesn't even matter. Do you think going triple Spain defense but still 2 English attackers is bad? No, because if you think about it, you have to pick at least 3 players from one team, even if you're going to back 8 from another team. So, you know, no matter what happens, you're just going to have a sort of bad result either way, right? With 1 or 2 players. Like, for example, Pickford for me, if any of my Spanish attackers do good and score a goal, then obviously Pickford's worse. But at the end of the day, I still have to pick 3 English players. Short early sub I think is possible, but probably not before 70 minutes, I suppose. If you got Guehi, Cucurella, Carvajal in defense, should you pick Simon or Pickford? I mean, I'd probably just still pick Simon. Short early substitution, I've answered that. Nico Williams or Rodri, I think Rodri for sure. So the chat thinks that chat still says no to the Rodri captaincy. I'm so sad about that. Fine. It's a shame. Almost got there, guys. Guys, my nerves are kicking. I think I need to go to the bathroom if I'm being honest. You guys wanted the Rodri differential. I don't know. Too many people are calling me an idiot, so I guess I won't do it. Why, with all the Jude Bellingham hype, open up BBC Sports and everyone's talking about how he's a special player that can score the winner? I mean, I guess because he has done it before, but it's like, a lot of these other players on the pitch can all do it, if that makes sense. Will Shaw play the full 90 minutes? I don't think that's. I think it's possible, but I think it's a little bit of a 50-50, right? Because you still have Trippier at the end of the day. You're going Rodri, do it. Yeah, of course it's BBC English bias. I mean, why would you not back your players? Any English sort of commentary ever, like when you listen to the Champions League or whatever, is always going to be biased towards an English team, etc., etc. You'd say swap, but you couldn't resist the chance to call me an idiot. Fair play. Why not be an idiot? Why not? I'm thinking, that kind of Lord of the Rings meme? Why not? Tempted, right? No, I kind of just want the team to overrun England somehow and not have us win some sort of closely contested 1-0. Any recommendations on this midfield? Williams, Olmo, Ruiz, Saka, Bellingham. You want Rodri? I think just drop Williams if you want to go Rodri. Best Spain defender to captain. I think it's probably going to be Carvajal. Yeah, Jude or Yamal for captain. I'd probably go Yamal personally. Guehi or Shaw. I'd probably go Guehi if you're sort of, trying to hold down a lead. If you're going for a differential, go for Shaw. By the way, guys, I'm gonna have to be right back. I'm extremely sorry. I just need to go to the bathroom. But I will be back in literally like 2 minutes. All right. Apologies. I am back. Trust me for Yamal. Nah, as I said, I think almost the best captaincy on paper, but of course, this is the type of game where you're just trying to bet on one man of the match, right? So I'm hoping Yamal could win again. That's all. Would you swap Saka or Bellingham for Ruiz? And if so, which one of these two? I'd probably drop Saka if you really wanted to go for it. It's criminal what he's done with Trent. A little bit, yeah. I mean, you'd like to, in theory, think that Trent would be like you'd like to. Sorry, I was literally responding to my cousin, but give me a sec. All right. Sorry, I'm just getting stressed. Best England captaincy. I think probably I think Kane is the most safest one, but then I think Foden is quite an interesting differential that I quite like. If you want a little bit more of a passive one, I guess Guehi's not too bad either. Um, it's Trent. We were talking about Trent, right? Yeah, I mean, I think if you just thought about all the English players, you'd think Trent should somehow find himself towards the team, but it's been tough for him to get into the team, and I kind of understand. Southgate should be sacked. I mean, he's literally got a 45% chance, I suppose, right now of winning a major international trophy and to not get sacked for a long, long time. Rodri captaincy, I think, is a good differential. Yamal captaincy, yeah, that's locked in for me. What Walker's a bit of liability defensively. I'm not sure if that's the case. I think, maybe when he sort of plays in that sort of center back position, you can argue that his holding of the lines, in terms of like offside, isn't great. But beyond that, I think Walker's just incredible. And of course, his one-on-one defending is probably the strongest aspect of him, right? You hope Spain dominate. I hope so too. Come on, England. Yeah, that's totally fine. If you guys support England, that's totally fine. Good luck to you guys as well, just in general. All the best. Any recommendations on this midfield? I already responded multiple times, so I'm just gonna have to mute you. Do you keep Nico Williams or sub him out for sure? I'd probably keep Nico Williams personally, but it's up to you. Saka Rodri, I'd go Rodri, Saka Ruiz. I'd still probably go Ruiz. Last minute swap Nico for Cucurella. I'd probably still go Cucurella. No passion. Spanish players not singing their national anthem again. Shaking my head. Sarcasm. Nice. 2-2 Spain win on. Spain winning on pens is definitely not on my bingo list because we are so bad at penalties. I know some English fans have some historically bad penalty taking sort of fears, but we realistically might be the worst penalty taking team in the world, like who are a top team. So thanks again, Kai. Fabian Ruiz or Nico, I'd probably go Ruiz for the minutes. Rank Bellingham, Foden, Saka, please. I'd probably go Bellingham, Foden, Saka in that order. But I think if you're chasing a differential, I think Foden's obviously the best. Guys, you have 2 minutes left to make your decisions. Please make those decisions. Best of luck. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna go enjoy a little bit of the Twitter timeline, see what's up, and I'm getting nervous. Getting nervous. Okay. that's it. That's the deadline. Hope you all have a great game. We are going to have a watch along, so let's enjoy the football. And I'm stressed. It's not really loading though, is it? My FOTMob screen is just simply not available somehow. Oh, maybe that. Yeah, that's fine. So that's the game there, and I will have to watch the game. Under a lot of stress right now, guys. So best of luck to everyone in their fantasy teams. And let's see. I'll always, as usual, be a little bit behind, but you know, hope for the best. I was so stressed. I was so stressed. Okay, Morata changing the hair color a little bit. He's put some hair dye on. Dani Carvajal. Nice, nice. Oof. Really good start there. Nice, Rodri. Got this, Fran. Sadly, no transfers for me this final round. Oh, sorry about that, but I'm glad you're here. Nice to see you around Impasse. Back in 2 minutes. Sorry, I'll remove that. I'm honestly, my heart rate is it's not good for me right now, but what a pass from Laporte. Nice, Carvajal. Lovely. God, English commentators already waffling a little bit about Shaw. Hmm. Nice, great pass from Carvajal. Terrible from Morata there. Oh God. Okay. So Mainu's job this game might just be the man mark Fabian Ruiz. Potentially. Yeah, he's kind of doing that already. Interesting. Terrible from Bellingham. Nice. Whew. I'm so stressed. So yeah, Mainu is already basically perma shadowing Fabian Ruiz, which is an interesting development. But it will obviously be about those situations where, of course, if it doesn't come off, if that makes sense. Great from Olmo. Ooh, and Williams has this. Brilliant. Okay. Oh, corner for us already. That's good. Still a great run from Morata, though, because he very well could have got onto that. Morata's movement is so essential to how we want to pass. Like the way he slips off a defender, drops into midfield, just one touch, and then passes the ball back, releases some tension, allows the ball to advance a little bit, or just generally our team to advance a little bit is so nice. I have to say, great for Cucurella. Oh, I would have loved him to cross first time there. Oof, close there with Nico. Fabian Ruiz is so good. Nice. And people are still booing Cucurella, which is hilarious. Great start from Nico. Nice. As long as I think you have the confidence to one on one versus like a world class defender, I think that's it, right? That's the mentality you need to have. It's not about okay, do I lose to Walker 9 times out of 10? It's the fact that no, I can actually beat Walker the one time, and as long as you have the mentality to keep going at it, that's all you need because that's how good Walker is, unfortunately. Great pass from Laporte. Oh, I'm so stressed. Ooh, close. Rodri, lovely. I mean, it's nice that we're dominating the game a little bit, if I'm being honest. German's not salty at all. Yeah. I'm gonna take this like widescreen light off because it's absolutely ruining me. I'll be in the dark a little bit for the stream, but I think my eyes would hurt a little bit less, so let's just do that. All right, can we stop passing with headers? Thank you. What a pass from Fab. Oh, too much from Morata. Wow, we are all over them, which is nice. Oh God, Morata. Nice. Well done, Fabian. Oh, that might be a yellow for Rodri. The Ballon d'Or foul. uh, great ball from Shaw. Nice. Nice, Kukurea. Great pass. Great pass again. Oh, oh, good tackle from Stones. Oh, great block. God. Gareth Bale. It's nice to see. Oh, nice, Rodri. Oh, ah, close. What team do you support in Spain? Real Madrid. He changed his hair. Are we talking Morata or are we talking about anyone else? Sorry, regarding hair. What a disguised run from Kukurea. What a run. Ugh, I don't know. I don't really like the cross from Nico. He hasn't been to the Luka Modric school. Great from Bellingham. That was great. Oh God. Please do not concede a set piece goal. Nice. What a pass from Shaw. Nice from Morata. Great. Nice, Laporte. Amazing. Amazing. Oh, God. On the Stones thing. You just hope Lamine scores. Man, I just hope we win. That's all. I don't care anymore. I just want to win. Close for Yamal. Nice balls on Carvajal. What can he do? Sorry, that was too much. He's out. He's out. Fabian's control this tournament is just exquisite. And then I say that and he's made a mistake. Okay. Yeah, he's on 3 ball recoveries, correct? I think Laporte's on 1. Nice, Laporte. Well done. Interesting little volleyball right here. Well, not good enough from Morata. Well done, Morata. What is that pass from Williams? Actually, horrendous pass. Okay. Nice, Yamal. Well done. Good work. Carvajal, nice. Is that how's that a foul? I'm so confused. Let's go. Nice, Morata. We have this. That's a foul, surely. Okay, maybe not. Woo! No Kane, let's go! Let's go! Let's go, Harry. Great advice. Await FPL. England already playing for fans, maybe. Different ref this game though. No, I appreciate it, Nick, and I can't wait for FPL to start personally. Oh, he's got to put his foot somewhere apparently. Is that a good switch for Morata? I hope so. Nice. Nice. Smart from Yamal. He's always so smart at knowing when the defender is coming and just getting a free, cheap, throw in that sort of resets the tempo of the game, but keeps the possession in obviously his team's favor. So, like, sometimes some people will probably try to take a little bit more of an aggressive touch there to maybe get into an even better position. But there, of course, you're not going to win the duel. So, why not just kick it off his feet? Great from Kukurea. Brilliant switch. It's unfortunate. Well done from Rodri. Close. I love the Gahir action. Iniesta's here. Lovely. David Villa as well. Stress. Nice from Fabian. Bellingham collars up. Okay. Interesting. Oh, it's terrible from us. We're just not committing enough people in that area of the pitch, but obviously. Nice. Nice from Williams. Him closing in there was so nice. The way that even though our fullbacks and wingers I'd say are not good one-on-one defenders, it's their understanding of when to sort of pinch before, basically opening a complete valve, if that makes sense. Morata, that was it. That was it, Morata. That was it. That was it. Oh, that was it. That was so it. Almost yellow. Okay. Uh, fine, fine. I guess he gets the fine. Yeah, whatever. Follow through. Sure. If Morata passed though, oh, we were through. We were through. Quickie 3 balls recovered. It's nice. 4 balls recovered from Carvajal. Interesting. None for Kukurea. Oh, come on. Nice, Yamal. Oh, that's a great chance. What was that shot? Nice, Olmo. Exquisite turn. Great, great, great job. Well done. I love the consist. I don't know. I think Williams is just he's a little too hungry to cross, but this is stressful, guys. This is stressful. Let's do a little brief ball recovery check so far. Rodri 1, Ruiz 1, Williams 1, Laporte 2, Carvajal 5, Cucurella 1. Nothing crazy. Obviously, Carvajal 5 is lovely, but we didn't captain him, did we? Is he offside? I'm not sure. Great ball from Rodri. Incredible. Nice. That's a clean foul. Clean tackle, sorry. Nice. How is that a foul? Sorry, Bellingham. Okay, these crosses from Spain are just not good enough. Nice, Rodri. Nice, Laporte. I think that's probably 3 ball recoveries for Laporte. That was not the right pass. He should have just went on his outside. Oh, it's unfortunate. Fabian had probably the better angle. Nice, Carvajal. Excellent. It's not good enough. Really bad pass. I think that was Rodri as well. Nice from Rodri, though. Oh, great from Bellingham. What a pass from Kane. The overlap from Walker. Oh, terrible from Manu. We need to go here. There's no Walker. Walker's already bombed. And Walker's back. Incredible. 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 Unlucky from Yamal. Yeah, quite a lot of ball recoveries. I think Carvajal might actually get 6, to be honest. Made a good tackle a minute ago, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, that should be basically like another Laporte ball recovery, right? What a ball from Laporte. Nice. Man, Guehi is insane. He's insane. What a ball though from Laporte. So strong from Guehi. Brilliant. Still good from Morata to get the corner though. Nice, Laporte. Is that really a foul? Fair enough. Well done from Rodri and Laporte there. We're probably going to half time now, right? Oh God, is Laporte not okay? Oh, that's gonna be so bad for us. Hopefully it's just pain. I think it's because Rodri kind of clattered into his leg, right? Oh. It will be tough to have him, but how many people can they, how many players can they realistic? I mean, they just can't be selling everyone, right? If that makes sense. You'd you'd have to offer just enough, if that makes sense. All right, we've reached half time. I think I might take I might leave the stream here to be honest because I am a bit of a nervous wreck. I'm probably talking less than I usually am. I hope you guys enjoyed the game of football though, um, without me, and hopefully Spain wins. But yeah, I just realized I'm probably getting way too tensed up, and I'll probably just try and enjoy the second half of football. But thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you guys. Take care. Goodbye.